Hi. So filmmaking is a constant balancing act. Creativity on one side, strategy on the other. As I work to bring The Quiet Canadians, which is a film that I've been developing for a few years, to life in 2025, I'm discovering that the best way to learn how to make films is to make films. So welcome to day 2 of my 44 videos in 90 days challenge. Today I want to share what I'm learning about being an entrepreneurial filmmaker and how you can apply these lessons to your own journey. Here's the reality. Independent filmmakers have to do it all. We're storytellers, leaders, marketers, and problem solvers. Here's the good news. You don't need to have all these skills figured out from the start. In fact, it's probably counterproductive to try to learn everything before you even get started. Independent filmmaking isn't just about creativity, it's about creating systems that help you build projects, figuring out what you need to know, learning that skill, applying it, going to school, if you will, through application, and taking what you pick up, refining, and trying again. This is about creating systems that help you build projects, connect with audiences, and build a long-lasting career. Now, why does this matter? Too many filmmakers are getting stuck waiting for permission, funding, or the right moment. But entrepreneurial filmmakers need to create their own opportunities. They understand the balance between art and business. As I'm working on The Quiet Canadians, a spy thriller that I plan to shoot in 2025, I'm learning how to juggle everything from raising funds, building a team, and staying connected with the purpose of the project. It's a lot, but every step forward teaches me something new. An entrepreneurial filmmaker takes ownership of the entire process, learning through action and adapting as the challenges arise. We learn by doing. So for example, for The Quiet Canadians, I'm developing these skills in real time. I'm learning how to fundraise. I'm learning how to approach investors. I'm learning how to put together pitch packages. I'm developing my skills in real time and figuring out how to balance these creative decisions with budget constraints. Every step that I take builds more and more confidence in the project and in myself, and improves my skills for not just this project, but for future projects. You lead with purpose. The driving force behind Quiet Canadians is our why. This is a story about loyalty, betrayal, and Canadian identity. Keeping that purpose front and center helps us stay focused even when the process feels overwhelming. Entrepreneurial filmmaking is about building a sustainable career. We're not just making one movie. We're building a foundation for future projects. That means thinking about how The Quiet Canadians can connect with audiences and open doors for sequels, partnerships, and other creative opportunities. So let's talk about going through the key principles of an entrepreneurial filmmaker. First, let's start with the why. Your purpose drives every decision. It connects your story to your audience, inspires your team, and aligns your goals. Second is serving your audience. Think of your film as a product that serves people. Who is your audience? What do they value, and why will our story resonate? Third is building a framework. You need 4 components for a successful entrepreneurial filmmaking business. And I'm borrowing quite liberally from Alex Hormozi's principles of what it takes to build a successful company. At the base of this pyramid is a skill of learning how to be a collaborator. No film happens in isolation. From your cast to your crew to your audience, building strong relationships is the most important skill you can learn as a filmmaker. Above that is capital. You need money to make a film, but more importantly, you need to learn how to get money and where to get it from. As an entrepreneurial filmmaker, we need to understand that raising funds is a part of the process. It is not a bug, and it's not that's something I have to do while I put my film together. It is in fact one of the features of being an independent filmmaker. Learning how to crowdfund, learning how to pitch investors, learning how to go after sponsorships, learning how to integrate all of those things into a finance plan, learning how to apply for grants, whether that's with your government or with local private nonprofit. It's also learning how tax credits work. And it's learning the soft skills of sales, marketing, and customer acquisition. You learn to pitch your story, you learn to do everything as part of an investment in your own skills, because what you learn here will actually be valuable down the line. The more we learn about how to put these elements together, the greater it's going to benefit us in the future. This actually becomes one of our assets. It becomes one of the value addeds that we bring to the table. It puts us in as one of the key components towards developing our project. We become the talent. Sitting above the capital component of the pyramid are both the elements of content and what Alex Hormozi calls code, but I'm going to refine that and say intellectual property. So let's talk about content first. Your content is actually a very important component of being building an entrepreneurial filmmaking business. It's not just the movie. It's the content that surrounds it. It's the trailers, it's the behind the scenes, it's the marketing materials. It's all these assets that you put together that are content, both sensitive and public, that help build value not only in the film but in your business. Every piece of content builds our brand and engages our audience. And then sitting right beside it to hit the top of the pyramid is the intellectual property component. The story is the asset. You protect the story. You make sure that you hold that intellectual property and that you can gain value from it. You develop it. You leverage them for future opportunities. Franchises like the James Bond series have gone and created video games and comic books and action figures and those kind of relationships that add ancillary value to the actual intellectual property itself. And by developing this, you make it attractive to investors, but also make it something that is packageable and leverageable against making future films. In fact, it's really the only way to succeed, I think, as an entrepreneurial filmmaker, is to continue to develop intellectual property and to develop multiple sources of intellectual property. So while we have the Quiet Canadians and the Quiet Canadians series as one of our components, we also have to look towards other intellectual properties, whether that's books or other stories that we can develop along the way that are going to increase the asset value of our company. So the key frameworks that I'm using as a result of this for the Quiet Canadians, I'm focused on the collaboration side of putting together the team that shares our vision and brings new ideas to the table, understanding that filmmaking can't be a solo effort. In terms of capital, we're looking at financing as the lifeblood of any project, and to also add value to sponsorships and product endorsements. So while we might not have investments coming in from product endorsements, they are expecting a certain level of return on their investment, on their marketing budget. They want access to a growing audience, and we have to be able to demonstrate that we've been able to reach an audience in order to enhance the value of product integration in our films. The next component, of course, is the content, and that's obviously not limited to the final film, but that's building resources like this, like YouTube videos, LinkedIn posts, social media posts, Instagram photos, and assets that get added to our website. All of these things are part of that asset building that we need in order to create a long-lasting business. These are elements that I'm learning more and more about. So even though this video is kind of raw, and I'm doing these sort of 30-day challenges and so on, it's an investment. Each content piece is an investment in the company. So this might be a micro investment, but if we pile on more and more and more of these sort of assets over time, that's going to have compound returns, I believe. So adding more and more components has an ability to stack upon itself. So whether that's taking our first film, 13 Miles, and using that as a basis of saying, look, we've proven that we can make a film. We've proven that we can release a film, and we've proven that we can make money on a film. We can leverage that to this next level, which is the Quiet Canadians. And the Quiet Canadians is a budget level that is still fairly economical. And then our aim in getting to that budget level is to create a film that justifies another film that might have a higher budget level with a higher potential return. And then finally, of course, it's the intellectual property, and that's the learning process of learning how to develop projects like the Quiet Canadians, Shinger Origins, and other projects that we are going to be developing throughout the next few years. This is the start of a franchise, and this is a brand that can grow over time. So what are the benefits of this mindset? First of all, sustainability. This is not just one film, or this is not just one job. In developing the the crew and the cast that we are for these films. Our aim is to create a culture where crews and cast want to keep working with us. In fact, where there's a demand to work with us because we approach the filmmaking process in an entrepreneurial way. And because we involve our crew and our cast in the success, where they benefit from being involved with our films. Obviously, we're trying to develop resilience. We don't want to be dependent on luck. And we also don't want to be dependent on gatekeepers. We can't be waiting for other people to give us what we need in order to make our films. We need to be able to take these projects by the scruff of their neck, so to speak, and execute them without having to ask people for permission in the first place. And that comes from learning to adapt, to pivot, and to thrive. And we proved that with 13 Miles, where it didn't really matter that we weren't able to secure that funding up front. We just knew that we had a process that would finish the film one way or another. And then, of course, developing connection. Collaboration and audience engagement will become our unique selling proposition, our superpowers, our unfair advantages, if you will, leading to better films and stronger relationships and longer lasting partnerships. Let's take a look back at what we're exactly trying to accomplish here. We are trying to build an entrepreneurial filmmaking culture, which means balancing creativity with business. This is about leading with purpose, solving problems, and leveraging collaboration, capital, content, and intellectual property to build something bigger than a single film. This is a career, this is a community, and this is a legacy. Being an entrepreneurial filmmaker means also embracing the process. It means learning as we go. It means picking a micro project within each film, learning what we need, the skills we need in order to execute that property, constantly growing, and developing the skill set along the way. This could be the same for you. Whatever project you're working on, focus on taking the next steps. Not trying to have it all figured out at once, but figure out what your next step is. Go and learn how to do it, and then execute right away. And understand that you will make mistakes, but that's where growth happens. So let me ask you a few questions. Which of these 4 elements, collaboration, capital, content, or intellectual property, are you focusing on right now? Let me know in the comments. If you're navigating filmmaking and want to build a sustainable career, hit subscribe and follow my journey. And if you enjoy this content, check the links below to join my newsletter or just to buy me a coffee to support these videos. Wishing you all the best, and we will see you tomorrow for day 3.